to the fruit, more bass than Boots Collins. You versus me, that's like Ali versus Foreman. God's act.
Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Tyler, and in today's video I have a brand new life story for you all today, as well as a brand new Modern Warfare Remastered gameplay in the background. I finally got this adapter for my controller, that way I can use my 360 controller on PS4, and it literally feels so much more natural to play this game now, so I'm so happy I can actually start playing again normally. But in today's video I have a fucking insane story for you all today, probably one of the craziest stories I've ever told on my channel, and I know I say that a lot in videos, but this one is literally one of the craziest stories I've ever talked about on my channel. And as I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video, it has to do with fire. A lot of fucking fire. So pretty much this all takes place back in my 9th grade year. I was just hanging out, doing my normal shit on the weekend. And a few of my friends asked me if I wanted to hang out and just chill for the night, go out, sneak out and pretty much explore abandoned buildings and just fuck around. And so it wasn't very often that I would usually do this, so I decided to go ahead and go out with my friends for the night, sneak out and just fuck around. And so I end up sneaking out of my house and going over to my friend's house to meet up with him and 2 other people. So I end up going over to my friend's house and I see my main friend who I know pretty well, and he'd invited 2 of his friends who I didn't really know very well, but I had known them just from school and stuff, but we had never really hung out outside of school or anything like that. And so when I end up showing up to my friend's house, it's just our little group of 4, and we end up deciding to start heading out and just grabbed our backpacks and started exploring. So once we had all met up, we ended up just grabbing our backpacks and immediately jumped out and ready to go start exploring. So we ended up leaving my friend's house and began our journey walking down the neighborhood sidewalks and stuff. So the first place we decided to end up going to was this abandoned train station, and it's not a big train station like the one I talked about in my haunted video, but this is a completely different train station. It was more of a subway, an abandoned subway tunnel type train system, and it was just completely abandoned, so we decided to go start off our night by exploring over there. So we end up going to this spot, exploring around, hanging out for 20 or 30 minutes, and then going on and start heading over to the next area. And we didn't really have a set plan of where we wanted to go explore or what we wanted to do. We were just all out kind of roaming around at night. And keep in mind, this is probably closer to around 11 p.m. or midnight, so it was pretty late for us to be out, especially in 9th grade. So after we finish up exploring this old abandoned train station area, we decided to go down the street a little bit further and go explore this old abandoned church that we knew about. And now neither of my friends and I have ever explored in this church building before, so we decided it would be a good time to go and do that since we had a big group of all of us and whatnot. So we ended up heading that way, towards the church, and on the way towards the church, we ended up passing this crazy, new apartment complex building. And it wasn't done yet, it was still completely under construction, and they were more townhouses, if you know what those are, but they weren't, done in any way. They were to a point where they still didn't have doors or anything on them, so you could go inside and walk around. So my friends and I decided to go and explore this little, complex, this apartment complex that was being built. So our little group of 4 ends up splitting off, and it was me and my main friend. We ended up going and exploring into more of the apartments or townhouse areas. And so the other 2 kids who came along with us were over on the other side of the apartment complex just exploring that area while we were in one side in the apartment buildings. So my main friend and I are just walking around in this apartment building, kind of exploring around, and the next thing we hear is just this loud boom and what sounded to be glass shattering. And then about maybe 30 or 45 seconds after we hear this boom, we just see a huge flash right outside the window of the apartment complex that we were exploring. So my friend and I got spooked as fuck and immediately ran down the stairs of the townhouse apartment and out through the open garage. We end up running and sprinting across the complex trying to find our other 2 friends, and we notice there's this car over on the other side of the complex that's just burning on fire. And so my friend and I are just holy fucking shit, what the fuck is going on? And so we're sprinting over, looking around for our friends, and we notice that they're over near this car on the other side of it. We couldn't really see them. So I guess they ended up seeing us running towards them or whatever, and so they came out from around the other side of the car and were walking towards us at this point, just completely cracking up laughing. And my friend and I are just dude, what the fuck did you guys just do? And these 2 kids begin to explain how they ended up finding a thing of gasoline over by the car. And it must have been just a construction worker's truck that he had left there who was working on the apartment or something. But these 2 kids had ended up finding a tank of gasoline and just coating this truck in it. And then they threw a brick into the front windshield of the truck, explaining the loud boom and glass shattering sound we heard, and then immediately proceeded to just set the truck on fire. And one of the kids who was sitting here who ended up doing the whole thing is just like bragging to us about how he recorded it on his cell phone and shit, and like we were like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? So all of us immediately decided to make the decision to just sprint and get the fuck out of there, because we had no idea who was calling the cops or what was gonna happen, because there's just a fucking car on fire in this apartment complex. So all my friends, our whole group of 4, just ends up splitting and just sprinting away from this whole apartment complex. And as we were running away from the apartment complex, we ended up splitting up into 2 different directions. My main friend and I ended up running over to the left, that way we could head towards his house, and the other 2 kids just ran over to the right. We have no idea where they went. All that we know is that if you ran to the right, there was like another whole neighborhood over that way, and then there was like another apartment complex that was completely done being built. So we aren't sure entirely where they went that night, but in the end of it, nobody ended up getting in trouble for it, because we ended up going to school the next day and seeing the 2 other kids who were there. And later that day at lunch, they'd even showed us the video on their phones. Like, it was just fucking wild. I've never seen anything else like it. It was just the most crazy shit ever. And of course, like, at the time I didn't want to say anything to anybody because I didn't want to get in trouble for being there, you know, like, it was just wild. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this story. I know it was a really fucking crazy story for me to have on my channel. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to smash that like button down below, and if you guys are new, be sure to subscribe because I make videos like this all the time. But you guys know I love you all. Thank you all so much for watching today's video or life story. I'm out. Peace.
We ain't shit, thought I told you like 100 times, yeah. We ain't shit, why you always acting like you mine, yeah. We ain't nothing, why you all up in my fucking space.